Hi, I'm Dave Raffa with Informer's Channel Partners Events Team. Welcome to this edition of MSP Summit Video, which is part of our Channel Partners TV, or what we like to call CPTV. So today I am joined by Cylerian CEO Vijay Akasapu, who will speak about his cybersecurity features and management capabilities. So thanks for joining me, Vijay.
Thanks, Dave. Great to be here.
Let's start out by, how has your background in cybersecurity led you to founding Cylerian?
Yeah, I'm what you could call old school, right? I've been in this space for 25 years. Started my career in 1999 with Lockheed Martin. From there, I moved to a company called Foundstone, where I worked with George Kurtz and Stuart McClure. George went on to found CrowdStrike. Stuart went on to found Silence. And while I was there, I also worked with a guy by name Kevin Mandia. He ran incident response for Foundstone, and when he went on to found Mandiant, he called on me to essentially start the proactive services group for Mandiant. And as part of Mandiant, we were sort of early on in the incident response cycle. Back then, the way incident response worked was we were mainly doing work for large enterprises, and most of these companies were targeted by the Chinese governments or sort of major entities, right, threat entities. And the way we traditionally did security was we would do what we call dead drive forensics, right? Companies, computers would get hacked, we'd come in, we would duplicate those drives and do sort of traditional forensics around it. There came a need for sort of more enterprise-wide investigations, and so Mandiant back in the day was at the forefront of the EDR technology in order for us to be able to scale our IR practice. So I was one of the guys that helped start that technology for Mandiant. We used it essentially to track the bad guys, whether it was the Chinese hackers or the Russian hackers, in order to be able to scale our investigation. While at Mandiant, there were a few challenges I came across. One of them being that we'd come in, we would do our investigations, we would provide most of the companies with a large set of recommendations on how to set up their practice, how to make sure that they were in the future able to deal with the threat actors that they came across. But as and when we started doing work for the SME space, I quickly realized that the kinds of recommendations we would make them just didn't work. Right? They didn't have the know-how, they didn't have the budget, and they didn't. Um, they just couldn't afford to build out their own SOC. So I felt like there was a gap in the market, and I left Mandiant about 8 years ago, essentially to start Cylerian. Think of us as, and back in the day, right? I knew going in that we had to build a multi-tenant platform that worked for the small guys in order for us to be able to kind of meet the demands of the market, right? And so that what that entailed was essentially building out this multi-tenant platform from the ground up that consolidated a lot number of the tools that an enterprise would need, and we built it from the ground up back in the day. You're starting to see that sort of large companies kind of come around to providing platforms. We started 8 years ago with that, with that vision. So at this point, we are a platform that kind of works for the MSPs, just given what our vision is.
Yeah, when you deal with MSPs, their customers are very diverse and a lot of different industries have a lot of different challenges with keeping out threats. So, how can your cybersecurity platform help an MSP grow?
Yeah. So the main thing is, like I said, I think what you're seeing in the market today is a lot of the MSP vendors are having to consolidate 20 different vendors, right, in order to provide a security service. I mean, they're doing that. They're going to be spending most of their day just dealing with tools, right? They're not going to be. They're not going to have the time to service their clients. They're not going to have the time to, do more, take part in more strategic initiatives. And so, what we offer as a platform is a single place using a single agent for them to consolidate over 20 tools, right? And so, when you have a platform and you have access to the platform, to a platform like that, it essentially allows you the time necessary to invest in other strategic initiatives, right? The other way our platform essentially helps MSPs grow is because we built it from the ground up. We were, especially in our space, in the MSP market, we were first to market on the AI front. And what that allows for is, because we are sort of an AI native platform, what that allows for is sort of it provides us the ability to embed AI into the agent itself, and essentially kind of frees up the analyst time, frees up the MSP's time to not just use our platform to kind of cater to security threats, but also leverage sort of the AI feature that's built in. Right. The other thing is, our platform is kind of unique in our space in that we're not only a cybersecurity platform, but just going in, I knew we had to build a platform from the ground up that catered to both security as well as operations. Because of that vision, what we have been able to execute is a platform that combines those two. And just given everything we've built out with sort of the AI feature built in, you're essentially able to use AI not just for dealing with security threats, but also your operational needs, right? And so that way, I feel like we're sort of unique in our market.
Yeah, I mean, with cyber, you need to cover a lot of areas, and if you have one gap, the whole thing falls apart, right? So, yeah,
Absolutely, right? So that is key. I think that is something that the MSPs are starting to realize, right? Right. Traditionally, the way it worked is, most MSPs just had antivirus and they kind of managed antivirus. Now it's evolved to just using EDR and managing your EDR. Uh, but I think what more and more MSPs are going to realize is what you really need is end-to-end visibility, not just across your endpoints, but also your applications, your network, and your cloud services. And that is something our platform kind of provides right out of the gate, right? That end-to-end visibility. And to your point, exactly, that's exactly what you need to be able to detect threats, sort of in each stage of the attack lifecycle.
all right, great. Well, this has been great, Vijay. Thanks for joining me. Will we see you at the MSP Summit?
Absolutely, I'm looking forward to it and meeting. Dave, are you going to be there? If so,
I will
looking
be
forward.
there, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to meeting you and the team. And I think it's my first experience at an MSP Summit conference, so I'm definitely looking forward to.
Yep, should be a lot of fun. All right, well, thanks for joining us for this MSP Summit video, and we hope to see you all in Orlando in September. Again, thanks, Vijay.
Thanks, Dave.